Welcome, Acolytes. Today I am reacting to Ken's Dankiras. Goblins are attacking Zimbabwe. And I heard of it, but. And sorry, why am I laughing? I already laughed so hard about it because about 3 months ago, me and a buddy of mine just talked about like the state of the world and such, and I said, yeah, the next thing is that if that a few freaking goblins will overtake a entire country. it's it's basically okay. Relevant. Let's just start.
This is something that you've probably already seen. Apparently, Zimbabwe is under siege by goblins. Zimbabwe is apparently being attacked by goblins, and you might think this is just some silly internet thing. No, this is actually causing like a huge upheaval in the country.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna be honest. People at one point do not believe me that that countries like that, in countries like that, there are freaking spots where they just go batshit crazy with their beliefs. One of the beliefs is that white people are vampires and they need to be killed. And nobody believes me. Now we have a goblin attack on Zimbabwe. And, hey, it doesn't matter what you believe in. But it's just...
The country is allegedly under siege by goblins. People are finding them in their house, finding them running in the street. People are being killed. Apparently men are being forced upon in a very naughty manner by goblins. I'm not joking. I've got tons of articles. I'm only going to read two though. Goblins force 4 Zimbabwe schools to close. Bloody goblins. 4 schools in southern Zimbabwe have been forced to stop lessons due to a rather unusual infestation. Goblins.
Oh, this is so funny. Yeah, how... I mean, I am not even surprised, to be honest, because I could sit here and say, how can they believe this stuff? I mean, it's unproven. How can they have no proof? On the other hand, you have religious people here that believe in stuff, unproven stuff anyway. So I don't think it's somehow different in this case. It's the exact same thing, it's just with goblins.
Local officials insist the pupils at Lushumbi Primary, Masayimbi Primary, Baza Secondary and Tokwe Secondary Schools, all in Matabaland, South Province, have been terrorised by goblins. Many parents have stopped sending their children to school because of goblins. Because goblins... because goblins are terrorising the poor children. Said Chief Malaki Masuku, children are constantly being attacked by goblins during lessons and some faint. So the goblins are in the classroom. America has to worry about school shootings. Zimbabwe has to worry about fucking goblins coming in and fucking with the kids while they're trying to learn the 9 times table. You know, you're sitting there like 9 times 1 is 1. 9 times 2 is 18, and all you hear for the corner of the room is It's so stupid. The headmaster of one of the schools told the state-controlled Chronicle newspaper, "The whole school is being affected. We cannot continue operating under such an environment. When the attacks start, pupils run amok. They start screaming and panicking, and eventually the whole school runs amok." Beliefs in goblins and witchcraft persist in many parts of rural Zimbabwe, though practicing witchcraft is an offence. Goblin sightings are reported seriously in both the state and the private press.
Seriously. Oh, beautiful.
Yes. Photos are perhaps not surprisingly rare, although apparently one guy found a dead one under his like grand's bed or some shit like that, and there's pictures of that floating around.
Yeah,
The one published in a government paper around 2 years ago showed an inert doll-like object that appeared handmade. You know, to the surprise of no one. Last month, a Harar businessman made the headlines by appealing to Vice President Joyce Mujuru to help him remove goblins from his gold mine in Shamba, central Zimbabwe. Chief Masuku said that some villagers who live close to Tokwe Secondary School have revealed that they hear strange noises coming from the school at night. On some occasions, villagers who have passed by the school during odd hours have reported spotting strange objects. The headmaster says the Education Ministry had been informed of the infestation. Halloween is not widely celebrated in Zimbabwe.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is just... if anyone comes to me with any kind of freaking argument about religion again, because this starts again, I'm just gonna say, it's as real as the freaking goblins in Zimbabwe. This is so beautiful. I love it.
Zimbabwe. So, like, you know, who would you call for that? Who are you going to call? Would the Ghostbusters deal with that? Would it be an exterminator? I got goblins. I got goblins in my walls. Now, you might think, would you call the police? No, the police aren't doing very well either. Police officers desert station. Citing goblin attacks. Even the police are under siege by the goblins and they're all abandoning their posts. That's how widespread this has got. You might think this is a little silly. I mean, we know it's a little silly thing, but it's having like a major drastic effect on Zimbabwe. Like, no joke. The Gwambe police base in Balil.
Spread the love on the social media. The goblin love. Just spread this information. This is beautiful. This is...
Abiland South has been deserted by officers who claimed they were being terrorised by goblins at night. Ward 2 councillor Mabed Ngilani confirmed the unusual situation.
By the way, he has to he has to stop himself laughing, not me. Fuck it.
We built a police station for the officers, and initially they patrolled in pairs, Ngilani explained. However, they haven't been able to stay for extended periods. According to Councillor Ngilani, the male officers reported being terrorised by female goblins at night.
We go to Human Village, right?
Yes.
And by the way, this was what I was thinking about after they said that goblins are them. Because this was the freaking exact picture. If you want to see this, this is I Will Buck You. Extremely talented. He's funny. The guy is just funny. Let's just say it like that. It's honestly, I will have a link down in the description if you want to see this stuff.
Sleep, he said. A meeting was held.
Okay, sorry, I had to just take a moment here. God damn it, okay.
Held last week with village heads and police officials from Plumtree. The police from Plumtree withdrew the officers from Gwambe, stating they wouldn't endanger them further, Councillor Ngilani said. I love how they're all approaching their higher-ups with this obvious shite, and the higher-ups are like, oh my god, that's terrible, we have to do something, and they're just like believing it. This is very serious. Like, I get the image of them all surrounded in Parliament around the big table. Like, what do we do? What do we do about the goblin menace in Zimbabwe? Man, like fucking taking it so seriously. They've got like a war room set up like you see in like American movies. But it's about goblins. The local chief also reportedly addressed the situation and cautioned villagers against such behaviour. Police came yesterday and says we should look for another alternative accommodation, but there is no accommodation at Gwambe School and they will be using the clinic as an office. We haven't got accommodation, but we asked them to come back and we see if the attacks will continue, Councillor Ngilani explained. Tabiland South Police spokesperson Inspector Loveness.
Yeah, let them in. Let them in. Maybe the attacks continue, maybe not. Let's just try. Go for it.
Manjena, I think that is, said she was not aware of the matter. Now, Superstition is very much a real thing, like all throughout Africa, right? It's a massive thing all throughout Africa. You know, you've got a lot of people, like the biggest complaint about charities and stuff like that is people won't go to the hospital or like an actual doctor. They'll go to some witch doctor who, you know, I have this strange growth growing out my neck, and then the witch doctor comes up and rubs chicken bones in their face and sucks their toes or something and goes, "You are cured, my friend." Man, like that's the problem that most charities complain about in Africa. People are still very superstitious and people are still going to the witch doctor. So there's a lot of like weird, you know, woohoo stuff that they believe in. It's why they do a lot of the poaching and all that as well for like rhino horn, because the rhino horn's not just popular in Africa, it's really popular in China.
Yeah. The poaching situation is also extremely bad there. It's just, the superstition is freaking outrageous. It's to a point where you just think like, how the F are we in the same year? But degradation is always way easier than actually progress, so...
There's like a homeopathic medicine which doesn't work. Rhino horns are just made from keratin. Like they don't. Keratin doesn't cure anything. It doesn't. But what was the other thing as well? I forget. There's a specific nation that this is to in Africa, but it's spread to other nations as well. I forget it. But basically, if you are born as an albino in Africa, you're gonna get murdered. You're going to get murdered because they
want your bone. Oh yeah, this is disgusting. Yeah,
they believe that albino body parts have magic medicinal properties.
Correct.
So they kill albino people.
Yep.
And chop them up and start selling their limbs and body parts to all these different witch doctors and woohoo voodoo men and all that to make like magic potions out of. Which is why a lot of the time you'll see albinos like in certain parts of the country and they're like missing arms and legs because they get held down and people cut their fucking arm off and all that to go and sell it.
Yep. And most of the time if you see an albino that gets his hand cut off, they actually let him live so they can do the other things to a later freaking time. And it's not just like full-grown albinos. Children, babies. If you have someone who actually believes in that, and he recognizes this is a baby albino, freaking terrifying. They're gonna rip that thing apart.
So, a deeply superstitious people, the same way as lots of people in Iceland still believe in fairies, and all that. I've been to Iceland. A lot of them still believe in fairies. Mostly the older people, but a lot of people in Iceland still believe in fairies. It's why apparently some construction projects get held up in Iceland because they're trying to build something on land that belongs to fairies and protesters come out and all that. I don't know how extreme that is. I haven't looked too much into it, but from the Icelandic people I've spoken to, a lot of them still believe in fairies. So, of course, in regards to all this superstition and witch doctors and hoodoo and all that stuff, of course everybody believes in goblins. And of course, like, see if it was just the kids in schools, it'd be like, right, okay, this is like a big meme among children that they've realised gets them out of school for a few days. But like police officers, goblins, they are goblins.
It probably gets them out of work, to be honest. Like, it's way safer to look for goblins than actual crimes.
Goblins stole my penis. No further questions. Like, I mean, it's hilarious. By the way, Lord Miles is in Zimbabwe right now. I believe, I haven't checked, one of my staff told me that apparently Lord Miles is in Zimbabwe right now investigating the goblins. So, yeah, that'll be fun. I'll message him and find out. You know what? I'll talk to Miles, and if he gives me any information, I will give you a goblin update.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
This is so stupid. Oh, but yes, as you can see, if you actually go full on belief, you can believe in stuff like this. And it's not even that surprising, to be honest. It's just belief is belief. If you believe in something, you have literally no freaking evidence for that. So, yeah, so goblins attack Zimbabwe. That's just how it is right now. And it's funny as fuck, but as it is, acolytes, good night.
This is something.
Oh,